Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the round 9 trade targets review, as well as going through and doing my round 10 trade targets. So before we get into this video, which will probably be one of the worst trade targets video that I've done, going through and looking at the names that I put down in the previous week, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, let's just run through these girls and what they did. O'Shea, she went up, and if I have it right, she went up and scored a 47. So how do I do it that way? Okay, 47. She might have even gone down in. Did she go up? She went up 14k, which just isn't that big of a rise here. I didn't put that so. But yeah, if you really wanted a really good defender, it would have been Lynch at, if I go and switch my pen across, Lynch at, she scored 91 in the end, and, oopsie, nope, that way. She went up and scored 91, and she went up and increased by 125k, but I mean, you're not really looking for cash generation, so I think the best option probably would have been Sheeran at I mean, she started the game at, she actually went down in price. Nope, she went up in price. She started at 801k, went up to 827, just looking here, and she did score an 88, which meant that she went up 26k, which is still really good, and I think Sheeran was the best option, so we lost 41 points there, which you'll see as we go through. Seems to be the case quite a lot, and I think we're down about 300 or so, just doing the quick maths on the best targets. If we go into the midfield here, the Presparkis girls scored 94 and 93, so if you want to just go here, 94, 93, and I mean, they went down 24k and went up 10k, so they had a net minus 14k, which is really bad, obviously. And then if we just go and zoom it out to the best midfielders, I think Bowers has to go in that list at a 127 that she ended up scoring, and I believe, did she hold value basically? Yeah, she went up 7k, but you're not looking for cash gem, you're just looking for big scores out of the midfield, and that for M5 type of range at 1.1 1.2ish mil is sort of really good. And then obviously Whitford, who we traded out in our main series, she went and scored a 113, which I think is the next best, and she went up, did she go up 11k? 35k. And then also, if you wanted another option, Swanson went up 125k for a 121, which is very, very good for those people that pocketed her, as that was definitely the go instead of Ham for me. But anyway, so be it. I wanted to have some fun, and obviously the fun worked on the tipping, which we'll get to in the next video, but didn't work in the fantasy side of things. But as you can see there, there were many options for that M5 type of role, and those three are the best for the midfield. Move on to the rucks, and Strom went and scored a 57, which is just shocking. So yeah, that was definitely a fail. The best ruckman to have were definitely Schultz at, if I can spell her name right, she went and scored 114 and went up like 100 and something thousand, I think. What was it? Let me just check here. 138,000 she went up by, which is a ridiculous margin. As well as I think Strom even went down some. Strom went down 58k, so you can see a massive gap there of almost 200,000 there. The next best option, because I didn't think Schultz being a rookie would do that. I know that she is technically a rookie, but isn't really a rookie in the sense of her price range now at this point in the season. The best option, to be honest with you, the next best probably would be Edmonds, who has it's spelled with an O, and then she went and scored an 87. And there's also Wales, but I think Edmonds is the most consistent. Plays North Melbourne. Wales next week plays Geelong, so if you look into the future, you'd see that. And Edmonds actually went down 29k, but you don't really care about cash generation if they're not going to be traded out anymore. So Edmonds has, I think, a better run and for 2 points less against this week, and 81k cash difference that wouldn't even be realised. I think she was a better option than Lucy Wales, but obviously Schultz was the best option this week as a ruck player. Then we moved to the forward line, and we might have actually gotten one right this week. Because you had two good who I wasn't going to pick, but Frederick was the third highest at a 103. That was really bad. A 103, and that was a pretty good. And there was the next best, I think, was actually Kelly at, if we go here, Kelly at a 99, was it? 98. She ended up scoring, and that ended up jumping her by, I think, 120k. So obviously, we don't really care about cash gen too much with these girls, except for the rookies. You care a little bit. But Kelly 98 was a really good effort, and then the next best was probably Houghton, but I can't sort of fit it on the screen anyway. But yeah, so Houghton was pretty good as well. She went up. She scored a 92 and went up 60k, which is a fair effort. But yeah, definitely happy with that. With the Frederick call, and just looking at here, we've got 104, 190, 198, 201, 291, 394. So it's 394 before the rookies. And the rookies are only going to provide 60 odd. And so yeah, this is definitely my worst week. Aside from this 453, was it? Yeah, this 453 was probably the next worst, sorry. And just looking at here, otherwise, yeah, so that was a really bad week anyway. And now we move to the rookies and just trying to get their score quickly. Hartel went 27, so I will not count that because that's really low. I'll be a little bit stingy and count Syme's score of 47. And that brings us up to a grand total of 441, which really wasn't that good of a week, to be honest with you. If we went and did all of the rookies, you will see that Bogue was the best at 72. Yeah, Bogue was the best at 72, and then the next best was Velado at 74, but is she really a rookie at that price? Maybe. So yeah, Bogue was the best at 72. Bogue 72, and oopsie, she went up for that 72. She went up 77k, which would have been really good cash gen for the final week of the year, where you could have gotten her out, gotten that cash generation going. Breed as well for a really good week as well for her, 58 on 49% game time for a 53k gain, which is pretty good. And then Trudgeon as well, 57 to get up 82k, which is really good cash gen. And yeah, so all those girls would be traded out and gained 50, I guess realized 50 or 60k, and Borg up to 98k cash generation, I guess. Now we move over to round 10, and if I quickly switch over to this other screen, you will possibly see my trades, or the trades in motion at the moment. But let's go to here, let's go to the defenders, and let's go to who is going to be, I guess, the defender for the last round of the year. Obviously you could go Lynch, but I think you just got to go best available, and I think most people have Standard's 25% owned, Thomas is 22, Heads, who I'm trading out, is 10% owned, but that's just trading out to get to realize the cash, because I need it for the midfielder. I think the best, what's Sheeran, 20% owned, Grider, McAvoy, Bedell, Smith. I think Walker still with her role is the best, and so yeah, I would say Walker again, which is probably going to be just a fail, but I think Walker is definitely the best. Even though she's 787, but because she's low owned and I think has a higher ceiling given her role in the side. Then we move on to midfielders, and who am I? I think Swanson has to be one, but I also think Bowers has to be one. So I think I'm gonna have to split between those girls and go Bowers, and then also I think Whitford might have to be one because there's no Gold Coast midfield now that Rowbottom is deemed out for the game. But then you've also got like Conti, who went huge in the last little bit. I don't think Hurley is an option. Hatchard against West Coast, are they going to tag her? Could be an option as well. Because I'm sort of looking at here, like, I don't think people will have the big money to make the sort of big move to a 1.3, 1.4 mil. It's going to be more of just seeing if you can swap a midfielder like I am with a Ham or something like that, and potentially go down in price a little bit to get a massive upgrade in the forward or defensive department. So I'm going to pick another 1.1 mil midfielder, and it's between sort of Hatchard, Bruton, Conti's way out of that range, Whitford, and Swanson in itself. So you sort of got four girls there that I know two of them are going to fire. It's just picking the right one here. And just looking at it here, I think Hatchard is due here. Lowest scorer, which usually isn't the metric to go against, has played a pretty tough last couple of weeks, and is probably carrying something. But I think I'm going to go Hatchard here. And just hope that Hatchard can produce, as she has shown she has a capability with that 133 or 116, 119 scores, and then a couple hundreds. But also just looking here, just trying to think, is King I don't think is a good enough option, and I think Bruton, she's shown a decent enough range, but I think, and Whitford with the main midfield role could go 125, but I think I do think Hatchard is the best option there. Then we move to the ruck department, and this is a tough one. This is definitely a tough one. You got Schultz against GWS, which is Flo Davies, which actually could be a shot. Not gonna lie, that could be an actual go-to option. You got Wales against Geelong, don't like that. Edmonds against North Melbourne, better than Wales against Geelong, but still don't like that. Bree Moody against St Kilda could be a shout. Hickey, if I'm actually going to pick one, I think it's going to be... Do I think it's going to... My mind's saying Schultz, but then I'm also like... I know that in a week time that's going to be the wrong choice, but I know that the matchup, as well as her scoring last week, is like better than everyone else. So I think I have to pick Schultz, even though I know that there's going to be a girl that outscores her, because that's just the odds of it. But I think Schultz is lined up to be the highest scoring ruck for the last round. Even though it's in theory she's going to be the highest scorer, but in practice I don't think she will be when we get the scores out. And then a forward line, I think you have to go... Strom could actually do well against Sydney, but I think I'm going to go Schultz just because. Forward line, I think it's a pretty obvious... top sort of 5 or so. You could, for me, it would just be swapping Malloy out for Too Good with the way that Too Good's playing at the moment. She's averaging 104, Malloy's averaging 81. But I think Malloy could still do really well against Freo. Too Good's going to run amok against Gold Coast. If I was to pick someone, Goldsworthy's way too expensive. I still think Frederick is really good option against the Richmond ruck. I think that's still a very, very, very good option. Her lowest realistically when she actually took full-time ruck is a 63, and outside of that it's a 71, 76, 77, and then into the 90s. So I think Frederick is a really good option. Gardner could be an option. Roberts against West Coast is going to struggle, I think, personally. Goldsworthy's too expensive, really, to choose in that option. So I think Frederick is, again, sort of the pick to go for. I don't really see many other girls doing anything outstanding. Could say Neem Kelly against West Coast, but how does she do against 85? I don't think there's really much value there. So I think Frederick is definitely the best one to go for, and I think she'll outscore everyone else. And then rookies literally don't matter at all. So the best... we don't even have to really do rookies at all. So I guess I could do a mid-pricer this week just to fill that void. And I think the best mid-pricer actually is Grant, who I'm picking up as the sort of downgrade option. So that'll be a mid-pricer. I'll just write it down here. And it'll be Grant at 503k. You could go Gunjaka, who's shown in the past that she can do it, but I don't think with her form at the moment she can. If we look here at the 400Ks, yeah, I don't really like any of these girls too much, to be honest. I mean, Mitchell is starting to show out, but she's not doing it consistently enough. Bush is alright, but not showing it consistently enough. And so, yeah, you might see you might see someone slot into the midfield for like Gold Coast or something like that, but I doubt you'll see terribly much, to be honest. I just want to check DFS Australia just to see if there's any midfielder from Gold Coast that could actually take up that role that Rowbottom is leaving for the last round. Brancasano could be there, but I don't think is she in the, yeah, she's a forward, so that's not really there. Drennan, Bella, Whitford, Rowbottom single will be back, it looks like. Fitzpatrick, DePoy, no one there really picking up that void. And then for Geelong, because Morrison is out, but Morrison had like barely any CBAs, 55%. Don't really like any of the options there, to be honest, that will fill that void. Anyway, so that pretty much is the video, the last trade targets video of the year. Of this season for Women's Fantasy. Don't think I will have to do another one, to be honest. Unless I do like a whole recap of the whole trade targets series for the women's and see where sort of I went wrong, etc. But it'll be sort of hard. But I may just do a recap of all of the rounds and then going over my best and worst rounds, etc. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the video of the week, which will be the tipping video for round 10 as well as reviewing round 9. But anyway, that's the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.